Well, hello, beautiful artisans. Welcome to my YouTube Echo Art with Carmella-T. So what do I have in front of me here? Well, a couple of things. So I am sitting on the floor again, and thank you for having an afternoon tea and or coffee with me. I am having my coffee in my self-heating coffee cup. And it stays hot. That's what I love about it. So, we're all about giving the earth a little hug in whatever way we can. So, we do that individually, and collectively, it makes a difference. It really does. We're not seeing it necessarily on a large scale, but it makes a difference. So look, this is an orchid. Some of you probably know that. But I have to tell you, I have just two. I have this one that I just adore. It's going to break my heart when this flower goes away. But I was over on TikTok talking about this today, and I thought, well, I need to talk about it on YouTube also. But I've spent years trying to figure out how to get an orchid to bloom, because I get them from the store, or I'm gifted a plant. Like this plant and the other plant are gifts, and they were all in bloom, and then I couldn't get them to bloom again. And this has happened over and over. So the key is water. The directions will tell you to give them minimum water. But in my neighbor who knows about plants so very well said give them water. They're a tropical plant. They love water. They love the rain, right? So I did that, and I moved it up a little higher so it would catch the heat a little bit better. Moved it back away from the sun a little bit, but so it's still in the sun. Anyway, there was a bud, and I couldn't believe it. It was like, just there suddenly one of these mornings, just previously, but it was just amazing. So anyway, I wanted to share that with you. This is another eco-friendly hobby or thing that we can do. And I would love to talk more about the eco-friendly things that we can do in addition to our beautiful artwork. And how inspirational is it to have a fresh, beautiful flower right in front of you, right in the middle of January. And it's been cold, and it's not too bad now. It's like 30 degrees, but it's going to go back down into the single digits. So I feel very blessed and honored to be able to have this beautiful miracle of nature just sitting right here next to me in my home. So with that, I want to share with you, I'm going to put this beautiful plant back up here, and we'll leave it right there for the moment. So I want to share with you how far I've gotten on my quilt, and I am nearly done. So the reason is I have been working on it, I don't want to say steadily, but regularly. I've been sitting for hours at a time working on it. So I don't know, you're going to get a bird's eye view this time on it because of the way the tripod is and the way I'm sitting. But I really have, let's see, I have about, I'd say, about 10 more inches left of this. So let me put the camera down, and you're going to get a good idea of it. Okay, so I'm going to turn it like this. There. So you can see. Now I'm going to tell you, I want to, after we go over this, I'm going to lay a few pieces out, smaller pieces, so you can see, for those of you who are not super familiar with laying out your patches. So I want to point out a few things of the patches. So depending how you do it, if you look over here at this design, I'm going to put that back a little bit. There. So if you look at this design here, this blue, and then next to it is a little rooster, and then you've got this one, that you have a lot of, what do you want to call, unevenness, you might say, which is totally fine. That's fine. And then look over here, look what happens. You see this yellow and this pink and even the little rose. These are all even here. That's okay. And then you come down here and then you see the unevenness. So what I'm trying to convey here is that, I'm going to put this back up for a minute. Okay. Is that when you are laying out your patches, go with how you feel you want that design to be. Because if you put yourself into a corner and you start like, okay, well, wait a minute, these don't match up, or these are not as, what do you call, asymmetrical, or making a juxtaposition, or not paralleling, you know, whatever it is you're trying to do, unless you're trying to do a pattern very specific to something that you're following or something you really want to do. With a Boro design, totally that is not at all. What you want to do is almost like free associate when you're picking your patches. Now, having said that, as for me, as I go through the bin, and I'm going to show you the bin too here. This bin, as you know, this is a drawer, and this drawer is chock full. Look, it's just, I've been working in it all day. I mean, all day. I've been working all day. That's why I'm almost done with this. But there's certain fabrics that I love. Now, this one was gifted to me, right? I love this. Now, I held it kind of to the side because I feel like it might be the pocket that I put in. So I'm going to put this over to the side. But look at all the fabrics I'm going through. And I'm going to show you, I want to share with you a few favorites. So this one, the buffalo plaid, which I've had around, and I keep finding it, and I'm like amazed that I keep finding it. But this one, this is another one an artist had gifted me through the summer. Look at this. At that time, I told you I absolutely adored this. This is a magenta. Some people do say magenta. I do. But look how beautiful it is. So this is in the quilt, and there's going to be another piece in the quilt. So it's right here. Okay, and I'll just show you from there the other ones that are my favorites. So this is my favorite. This is just gorgeous. You see it over here. It's over here on the quilt, and I think I had, well, I did, yes, and I put it here. So you see it a couple different places. I've got that couple times in the quilt. Now the other one I love is the ladybug, and the ladybug is at the top of the quilt. It starts off right off the bat right here. And now this is the thing. Some of these fabrics, I learned very quickly as I was trying this on, that there's two patches that are marking. I'm going to show you here. This one, and this one. They're both markers for when I put this piece around me to be a utility apron. these pieces are in the front, and those pieces mark where the straps are going to go. So I love those. And this one, I don't have much left. This is vintage, and I just adore this. You can see it's a teeny tiny print. I just adore that. This pops with any color I'm putting it with. So this is in a couple of times. And this is just cute. I like this. This is a nice contrasting. I'm not in love with the design. I think it's just cute and I like it. And then these two more solid, very minimal designed fabrics I like. This is a nice heavy cotton, and so is this. And the colors are dyed. You can tell that these are specially made. These are lovely. So, so with that, what I'm doing is, you can see right here, now it is a bird's eye view on this particular video. However, what I'm doing is about, I don't know, maybe every 5 inches, maybe 3 to 4 to 5, 3 to 5 inches, I'm just sewing across. And I'm doing that based on the size of the patches that I'm using. So now you're probably saying, well, what does that do? You know, so what it's going to do is get all of the pieces adhered to the base enough so I can turn it easily. I can sit down with it and sew, or I can, if I want to put it on a smaller table, on the table that's smaller, right space than the floor, I can sit in a chair and sit at the table, and I can comfortably sew more of my stitches, more of my rows, and without pieces falling. Now, you're probably saying, well, Carmella, you have 10 inches left. Well, what I've been doing is laying my designs, and which we're going to do now. So let me put this down and give those of you who are not familiar with this, and again, the video before this, the camera is closer so you can see how the pieces are laid out. But right here, we'll lay some pieces out, and we take our little pekin scissors, and we just get a couple of threads off of there. And so we straighten it out, and I have to sit like this because if I sit another way, I'm not able to turn and look at the camera when I want to. So this is, we'll just focus on this side and over here. So let's see, I'll move the camera a tiny bit there. And now, yes, we're on the floor. So what we have to do is we have to straighten out as we go along. So we straighten out our sheet as we go along, and or whatever you are working with. So with that, I'm going to, let's see, get a couple little pieces. And now, because I'm doing this on camera, these pieces may change out a tiny bit, but just so you can see. So let's see here, right here. This is a beautiful red piece, okay? It's just gorgeous. It really pops. And I have it at the top of the quilt, and I think right here would be a wonderful place for it because it puts it kind of still in the front. Now, I didn't plan on this, but I keep thinking, okay, the ones over on the sides are the ones for this utility apron are going to be more towards the back. So I kind of keep thinking that, but doesn't mean I'm not putting any more beautiful, because people are going to see the back too. But anyway, so I am really paying attention to the colors that I absolutely love. And I love the yellow that just pops. And I love this little flower being able to show there. Now, with this piece, we can, I was just looking for, okay, so we'll just use this piece. So I had another piece I wanted to, oh, here it is. Okay. I guess it was the little ladybugs. Okay, so what we're going to do, that's about the same size though. It's a tad little bigger. But anyway, what you want to do when you're considering, look, 1, 2, 3, 4, you've got 4 pieces here. Now you can do a couple of things. You've got to make sure you overlap at least your 1/8 of an inch with each of them. So you can divide this up and add different sizes, different pieces, and you can underlap them like that. You can underlap. Okay. You can make it even like that, or you can bring it up. See, you can bring it up, and you can overlap this, the butterflies, the yellow, and the blue. Now, if you don't really want to cover up the yellow, or you love that yellow and you're like, oh my gosh, I don't want to really cover that, and you have more scrap fabric, you can cut out another little yellow piece and put it in the center of your red and kind of highlight that. Or the other thing you can do is you can turn those back and you can underlap. But when you're doing that, you have to remember, right? Stay with your 1/8 of an inch at least rule, where you're covering all of them or you're underneath them. So you can do like that. So now you got this nice large piece. You're putting it in here, and that is lovely. So you could have used the whole piece to go horizontally, and I'll show you that way too. And you could have just said, okay, wait a minute, I just want to cover those. I really do. I just want to cover them. So you could put them right over them. That's okay. The one thing you just want to guard against and be careful of is when you're taking a piece like this, you want to be mindful that, yes, you're going by your 1/8 of an inch rule, but look, right here, you see how we're covering up that whole piece? Well, that's okay. You have that choice to cover up your whole piece. But if you use really large pieces and you start moving them up and you're not realizing it, you're not gonna go too far with your Boro building. You're gonna be, pushing up your design, and you're gonna be taking away from the beautiful design that you've been building and stacking or staggering or whatever it is that you have decided to do with your pieces. So, but anyway, I just wanted to point that out to you, that there are no rules with your Boro, because the Boro is based in mending and repairing. So here's another large piece. It's a little bit larger than I've been working with. Let's see if I can find a piece a little smaller that I'm working with. Here's one here. Beautiful. Now you notice there's a lot of florals I'm working with. I did have my iron out, and I feel like I will be coming back around. And I had my scissors, and my scissors are, my bigger scissors are on the other side of the room, which is fine. I've got enough cut pieces that we can just work with what we have. But so yeah, so here's my ladybug, and I get the feeling like with this particular one that I kind of want it down here, and I kind of like it overlapping the red. I like it, but I don't want it to take too much of the red away. So you're like, well, Carmella, you're not going in sequence. You're not staying in a row. So this is the other thing about Boro. again, because it is based on your mending and repairing, you can do that. You can do that if you want. You got your own rules going on. So maybe I want that there, and then I decide, okay, I do have to get that space covered. Now, again, do I have to get the space covered? No, not if you do not want to. That is a complete choice on your part. It's a complete choice. So I am choosing to cover. That's why I chose the sheet, and I got to make sure this is 1/8 of an inch under, as it would be any of my fabrics over, and there we go. So I'm loving that right there. So then it brings me to this space here. And yes, you're working with a sheet, you're sitting on the floor. Being on the floor is making those little creases. That's what's going on. So when I get back up on the table, I'll have a very solid surface. So let's do this one more right here, and see what I have over here. Okay, here's my tape measure. So I kind of like to just measure what I have left. So I'm gonna measure it based on this one here, because it's not much, I'll tell you that. So okay, that says about 5. That's about 5, but at the widest, at the most lengthy spot, it is, the highest spot is about 15. It's 15. So that's way up here. But look, we added a few pieces here, and just those few pieces alone gave us about 6 inches. So actually gave us more than that. It gave us 10. So anyway, this is just a lovely right here. So I'm going to add to that spot, and I am thinking a buffalo plaid, because I have this a couple times here. And let's see, I don't think it's wide enough, but I can certainly get some length out of that, and that would look just great. And I can just trim this a little bit here, and let's see, yeah, that pops completely. So this, and that means I would just add another piece here. And this is how you do it. This is how you're building your Boro. And you can elect to cover that whole space or part of it. And it depends what you want for your design. So this is an Aztec. It's a little smaller. So I'm just going to play with part of that space. And then this one, I'm going to just cover that space. So that right there is done. So with that, I hope that helps you put this back up. I hope that helps you with your designing. And if you had any questions and how you're coming along, let me know how you're coming along. I'm going to pin those down, and like I have the rest of it pinned, and then I'm going to move back up onto the table and do some more sewing. So this one's moving along quickly. So I'll probably be done with this week. And you know, the authentic Boro quilts were very, very big, and they took a very, very, very long time to make. So this is kind of, like I said, my inspirational rendition. So with that, I hope you enjoy, and we'll see you in the next one.